on that point of learning and reflecting, you've been on a journey this year navigating this quite successfully in terms of managing the change that goes around with COVID in general. So how do you feel, based on what you've learned, organizations can help manage the well-being of employees who still work remotely during this time, whilst balancing that with productivity?
My point of view is that it's almost a 50-50. I see it as a 50-50. So the organization must come to the party, but the individual must also come to the party. So it's actually the responsibility of both the organization and the individual to really take that emotional well-being into their own hands. You can give a person a lot of tools, a lot of guidance, assistance, but if they don't use it, it's not going to mean anything. So perhaps if I can just elaborate a little bit on what we've done so far and what we are planning still to do at ASL. When we went into lockdown, we compiled a remote working guide for our employees where we really focused on the emotional, physical and cognitive well-being of staff to give them tools from asking themselves weekly questions, having a weekly check-in, to having some activities, looking at your overall balance in your life, encouraging exercise. So to really look holistically in and tap into all those, as I said, emotional, cognitive, and physical well-being. But again, it's up to the individual to then use it, to make something of it. And these things often sound simple or simplistic by saying, you know, you must really try to prioritize exercise and eat healthy foods. It may sound so, yeah, I don't know. I think people may think,
almost.
Yeah, common sense. Yeah. Obviously, I must do that. But often people don't do that in times like these. So to really go back to the basics, rest, read a book, balance your work life, and take that responsibility for doing that. So we compiled that guide to really assist employees with that. We also had some sessions around building resilience and tapping into your psychological capital. So psychological capital consists of resilience, hope, optimism, and self-efficacy. So people can read up about that. There's a lot of articles on the internet, but to really build up your psychological resources and learn or get to know yourself well enough to learn from, how do I react in situations of stress? What is my typical go-to? How can I change my behavior in future? So to really tap into your own psychological resources and develop that for yourself. And I think something else that's also very important is to create a form of meaning from all of this. A lot has changed over the past couple of months, and we are still anticipating a lot of changes to come. The world may never look exactly the same. What does that mean to you as an individual? What does it mean for almost the role that you want to play in society, and to really focus on creating a sense of meaning from what's been going on, because it has been difficult. Don't let that be in vain. Really create a form of meaning for yourself. And then what we're also working on at the moment, and I'm very excited, we'll be launching that soon, is a type of a mindfulness guide that links to our remote working guide that we did initially, where we focused on emotional, cognitive, and physical well-being. But to create a type of journal for employees that they can use to set goals for themselves. We've all been so occupied with the year and now with the immediate circumstances. Our brains have really been protecting ourselves to focus on our short-term needs, but to almost reprioritize and refocus to now again think, okay, but where do I want to be at the end of 2020? Where do I see myself in future? So to almost start looking into the future again, because we've been so occupied, as I said, with the year and now. This is a time where organizations must do something, and they can do a lot, but it's also not just, the onus isn't just on the organization to provide tools, but also on people to really use it and really look after themselves and look out for I call it triggers. Understand your own triggers, understand when you are not coping well, and try to create that space to take a step back and reflect and refocus.
I think that was something that stood out for us in working together from a change management perspective.
Yes.
When you focused on and help facilitate what is the responsibility of the organization and the individual together on a journey. And that self-awareness is so valuable in change. We can give all the tools, like you're saying, digital tools and frameworks, but it's up to the individual to actually make that decision to use it.
Yeah.
And that's something that's been so such a cornerstone to the success of the change so far.
It's important to engage individuals in these type of whatever you're implementing, be it change from a technological point of view, be it change from new tools that you are providing them, whatever you're giving them, to hold them accountable and engage them in the process, because then they take that accountability. Whereas if you just feed it to them, or you just give them all the answers all the time, they almost don't take it and make it their own.
And that engagement also brings it back to the why. Why are we doing this? So that it becomes real for them, which is so key. And what we've seen in the change processes, just not with COVID, but with anything.
Perhaps just my last comment, what I've also learned over the past few months is that no single individual has all the answers, and I think we really all we're in this together. We're learning as we go along. We're learning from each other, and that's really taught me that value in teamwork, and that a team doesn't have to be a team from the same discipline. It can be a very much an interdisciplinary team, everybody giving their own perspective, and at the end of the day we come up with great solutions together.
Absolutely.